So this slide, just to explain it real briefly, it's speaking about binomial models, and in a binomial model, we are looking at an occurrence that has two possible outcomes. One that is going to be considered a success and one that is going to be considered a failure. For instance, if you flip a coin, the possibilities are it can land with the heads up or it can land with the tails up. So there are two possibilities. One is considered success, the other one is a failure. Now, what this expression is showing, it's showing you the probability, a way of calculating the probability of a certain number of successes. Now, this is the mathematical way of doing it, and this expression is derived in the text. I'm not sure you want me to go through that, so I'll go through how to use it. This second half is pretty straightforward. You're just raising the power p to the power x. So the probability will be given and you raise it to the power x, and q is the probability of failure, which is given here, 1 minus p. N, what we call ncx, which is n choose x, is an expression that gives you the number of ways in which you can get x successes in n trials, and the mathematical expression for that is given here by ncx is n factorial divided by x factorial multiplied by n minus x factorial. So for instance, if we're looking at two successes in 5 trials, it would be 5c2, which based on this definition is 5 factorial over 2 factorial into 5 minus 2 factorial, which is 5 factorial means you multiply 5 by 4 by 3 by 2 by 1. 2 factorial is 2 times 1, which is here, and then this in bracket is 5 minus 2 is 3 factorial, which is 3 times 2 times 1. So it means there are 10 ways in which, if you have 5 trials, you can get 2 successes. And what do we mean by that? If you consider 5 trials, to get 2 successes, number 1 and number 2 can be a success and the rest are failure. It could be number 1 and it could be number 3 and everything else is failure. It could be number 1 and it could be number 4 and everything else is failure. Or it could be 1 and 5 and everything else is a failure. And we could continue with that to sort of count how many ways we can get 2 successes in 5. But this expression here does it for you. Then remember, to get the probability, this is only a half of the expression, which is this half that is right here. So you then have to plug in and multiply that 10 by the probability raised to the power x times q raised to the power n minus x. So that's how you're going to get the binomial model to give you the probability. Another way that you can do it is in Excel. There's a function, and I've already pulled it up here, is Binomdist. And Binomdist is expecting 4 inputs. It's expecting you to say, okay, you want me to tell you the probability of an event that's binomial distributed, which means there are 2 possible outcomes. Okay, so the first question is going to ask you, what's the number of successes we're interested in? Let's say we're interested in having 2 successes. The number of trials is 5. What's the probability of success? Because for the probability of success is going to be dependent on what the event is. If you have a fair coin, then it's going to be a 50% chance that it falls on head. If it's another event, then the probability is going to be different. The cumulative value that it's expecting you to ask to input here is either going to be true or false. Now, if you want the probability that it's exactly 2 and not 1 or anything different, then you put false here. If you put a true value here for the cumulative, it's going to make the cumulative condition true, which means it's going to say the probability of the number of successes up to a value of 2 and not just exactly 2. So what we're interested in here is exactly 2, and that's what is depicted here. If you click on this cell, you will see how different it is when you put the value true, because true is then giving you a cumulative value. So it's the probability of 0 successes plus the probability of 1 success plus the probability of 2. That's what it means when you put true. It's giving you the cumulative up to the number of successes, as opposed to if you use this expression here, it's giving you the probability of exactly 2 in 5. So it's exactly 2 in 5 trials. And of course you would have to, this calculation includes everything that you need, and you don't have to do a second part to it, as you did with the other expression, which was here. Because remember, for this expression here, you have to first calculate how many ways you can get n, choose x, then multiply it by this. If you were to use Excel, then everything here is giving you the total result. Alright, so that's what this means. This is Rohan, and thank you for watching.